The rising costs of inflation have been making it much harder for us to afford the stuff we want, and this can be a problem for those who are looking for a laptop that's lightweight, has a good design, good performance, good battery life, and will last them a long time. And that's why you see me right here unboxing an already unboxed M2 15-inch MacBook Air. Is because of open box deals now, you can find the 15-inch model for $900 renewed premium off of Amazon, or $850 for the 13-inch. And even on the used market, you can find these now for $750 to $800. And the reason why I'm making this video is recently Apple released a new M3 MacBook Air, and it has a really similar design, or actually the same design. And you literally look and compare these two laptops on Apple's website. They're both really similar. And what I wanted to do is, okay, if these two laptops are really similar, what is that extra $100 to $200 you'd be spending it's going to get you with this M3 MacBook Air? And that's what I want to try to solve in this video. Now, before I get into the comparison, I want to put a pricing chart up on screen to kind of give an idea of what you can realistically pay for these depending on different options. And these prices listed are either from Best Buy, Amazon, or kind of what I found on the used market, which if you are thinking about buying one of these off of Amazon, I have affiliate links down below that help support the channel. But anyways, getting into this comparison here, I want to dive into storage first of all, and this comparison with storage only matters on the 256GB base model of these. If you get the 512GB, the 1TB, the 2TB models of these, this comparison I'm about to do here with storage is not going to matter. This is only on the base 256GB models. And what this comparison is the 256GB model on the M2 MacBook Air uses one single hard drive NAND chip, whereas on the M3 MacBook Air, it uses two hard drive NAND chips. So the M2 MacBook Air, you're going to get 1500 millibytes per second load speeds with the single NAND chip. And on the M3, you're going to get a lot more. I think it's almost twice as much faster load speeds, maybe like the 2700 millibytes per second load speeds. Now, I'm someone who uses or boots off of a 1700 millibyte per second hard drive, and I haven't noticed that load speed being an issue whatsoever. It's actually really fast. So even if you're getting the base model M2 MacBook Air 256GB of storage, the extra storage load speeds is kind of like a nerdy thing for us tech guys. It's not going to matter for the average user. And the only way I can really see that mattering is if you do a ton of large data transfers. So like you're backing up a ton of large files to a hard drive or vice versa. That I could see that mattering there. Now, where the real improvements are with this is actually the processor itself. And I know it has the same number of CPU cores and GPU cores. However, the new M3 MacBook Air uses a new 3nm technology that does actually give you better performance. So I'll put the Geekbench scores up on screen just to give an idea of what that extra performance is like. And again, it's something where the casual user, the average person who's likely going to be using this laptop, isn't going to care about. But it's definitely performance nonetheless, and I want to make sure you're aware of that in this video. And another thing added to with this processor is support for ray tracing for certain optimized games. And those games, they have to be optimized for Apple Silicon and this ray tracing feature, which is kind of far to come by right now. So if you like games like your main titles, they're probably not going to support this ray tracing feature. However, there are some games out there on the App Store that I think do, and I think it does make a difference for those games. So if you're an App Store gamer, you like using those types of games, maybe the M3 MacBook Air is better for you. Another thing that's really fun about these two is extra years of software support. So with the M3 MacBook Air, you are likely going to get an extra year or two of the latest macOS updates. So that's probably going to get you, if you bought it new, I'd say about 7 to 8 years of the latest macOS updates. Whereas for the M2, you're probably going to get maybe around 6 years of the latest macOS updates. So you're definitely going to see an improvement there. And if you are somebody who is planning on buying one of these and holding on to them long term, the M3 MacBook Air is going to be a better option for those people. Now, another way too that the M3 MacBook Air could be worth it for some people is dual monitor support. So the M2 MacBook Air only supports one external monitor, whereas the M3 MacBook Air supports up to two external monitors. And you do have to have the laptop in clamshell mode in order for this to work, and it can support up to two 5K displays. So if you are somebody who uses dual monitors, it's definitely worth it to get the M3 MacBook Air. And if you are somebody who does currently have an M2 MacBook Air, you can buy adapters that do allow you to do, external monitors, like two external monitors. But the problem is you're spending a lot of money for that, and with that extra cost, you might as well just get an M3 MacBook Air at that point. Some other minor differences too is the M3 MacBook Air apparently has better voice and microphone clarity. And this is something I found on Apple's website. I don't know how true it is. I don't know if it's a software thing or a hardware thing, but it's definitely an improvement they had on their list here. And another thing too is the M3 MacBook Air supports Wi-Fi 6E, whereas the M2 MacBook Air supports Wi-Fi 6. Again, a very minor difference that might matter if you have a Wi-Fi 6E router, and you may get slightly better speeds Wi-Fi wise with the M3, but it's not something the average user is going to notice about. And then finally, we talked so much about what's different, and you might be curious what's similar with these. And what's similar is pretty much everything else. They both have the same design, they both have the same keyboard, they both have the same display. I guess with the midnight color on the M3 MacBook Air, you have slightly better fingerprint coding. But overall, these are pretty much exactly the same in every other way besides what I mentioned before. Now, because there's so many factors at play here and everybody's needs are different, it's kind of hard for me to give a clear recommendation on which one of these you should get. But just to give you a little overview here, the M3 MacBook Air is likely going to get you an extra year or two of software support and slightly better processor performance. And the M2 MacBook Air is still a great option for those looking to save some money and get a really similar experience to the M3 MacBook Air. But I am curious though, which one of these would you guys get if you're in the market for one of these? And also too, if you do want to end up buying one of these or check out the current prices, I'll leave links down below. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.